Fire Services for the City of Jackson, Elmer Hitt, and Deputy Fire Chief Tim Gonzales. Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
You guys match.
Yeah, we coordinated that.
Tend to do that, don't you?
I've been seeing you all over town. You've been at a lot of community events. I think I last saw you guys together at the Martin Luther King breakfast.
Yeah, that was a great event, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. Great turnout, great speech, great gathering of community.
Yeah, that was a very good speaker.
Yeah.
He was.
You guys, it's important for you guys, both of you and your teams, to be visible in the community. Obviously, talk a little bit about that, Elmer.
Well, it certainly is. The more we can be out there and get to know, really get to know the community, and people see us and we see people, and it helps everyone, really. It does.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can build those connections when someone can pick up the phone if they need something and feel comfortable calling either myself or calling Tim when they may have just a simple question. You know, just those relationships are very important to establish.
Yeah, and really, what I think is cool about both of you, you both grew up here in Jackson and grew into your dream job. What a great opportunity, really, for both of you to be able to do that in your own hometown. I know that was a boyhood dream.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know if the director probably has the same things, but seeing those fire trucks drive by when I was a small kid, you know, it was a dream. And now being able to serve the community in the capacity that I am, serving the hardworking firefighters that are able to provide that service to the community, is the best job in the world.
Tim, I want to thank you and the rest of the department. I've noticed a lot of the trucks around, and I can't help but think, with this weather that we've had, how much more difficult it can make, obviously, both your jobs, but when you're responding to whether it's a structure, emergency, or fire, talk a little bit about how that weather impacts you and your guys.
Yeah, our staff, we have cold weather policies, so they're used to running in those policies, but it makes things go a lot slower. So being able to be, when time is of the essence, being able to know your roles, know your responsibilities, just makes that much more important for the firefighters. And I had a couple cold fires over the last week. The firefighters did their job, but it's still the greatest job in the world, and I just admire all of them out there, especially in these cold temps.
I've heard people say, Elmer, that, I'm not going to get pulled over when it's 20 below.
You've heard people say that?
Try me.
I'm not going to pull you over, I can tell you that much, but no, the cold weather brings on different challenges for our officers, especially police officers. You need to be comfortable out there, but you can't overly bundle up yourself, because you still have to be able to move quickly if you need to, you know. So it is a unique time of year for officers to be safe by keeping themselves warm, but also not get to the point where they can't perform their job in an emergency. And in driving also, of course, bad weather often leads to slippery roads, bad conditions, and we really stress with our officers to slow down. It's just inherent with first responders. You want to get there as quickly as you can, and sometimes you outdrive what the vehicle's actually capable of. So learning to deal with that, especially with young police officers, young firefighters that are driving fire trucks, is critical. So they get there. If you don't get there safely, you're doing nobody any good at all. So a lot of things come up during this time of year.
Yeah, and you both have a lot of youth in your departments, a lot of challenges with that. How was 2023 for police and fire services?
Good.
2023 was a great year. Our calls for service went up, which is not the best thing, but we definitely saw our young firefighters put to the test and answer a lot of the challenges. Had a couple high-profile fires, and they all did their job, and I couldn't be happier from the firefighters, first responders, and frankly, all the community, police, DPW. I think it was a real testament to the city, and when we do have challenges, how they can overcome them.
You guys see some young men and women that remind you of yourselves from when you guys were...
Well, they're still young.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
but
we're still very.
I know you guys are still very young, but I mean, think about it, right? Are there some similarities that you see in some of these people coming out?
Oh yeah, yeah. We have some young police officers certainly who I remember those days of having 1, 2, 3 years on the job, and which is good that you remember those days because you do have a different perspective then versus now. You learn so much over the years, and the experience you gain, and really understanding the importance of doing the job correctly and doing things a certain way are important to the community, and so sometimes we do have to pull the reins on those younger people and slow them down a little bit at times.
Yeah. I think we're really lucky in our community to have you guys leading our departments, and anytime I'm interacting with any of your staff, it's always great, positive, and we're just so happy that your teams are just such a good part of this community.
Yeah, I look at the police blotter every day, and you guys.
Sometimes it's funny to read that.
But every day, you guys are out. You're in the community. You're visiting schools. You're going to the events. But that's something that you are making a real concerted effort at is spending all that extra time being involved and connected to the community on purpose.
Yeah. You have to be intentional about it, and I'll say Tim, since he's taken over as the deputy chief, has done a tremendous job of making sure that's being done and stressing the importance to the people under him, and they've embraced that, I think.
Yeah, they love being out there in the community. It's just as much for them as it is for the residents sometimes too. So it's a great mix.
One thing I think important that I want to make sure we mention today is the revamped fire inspection program at the fire department. And Tyler Whitehead, he's our fire inspector now in Jackson. In that, we had an inspector position in many years, and pushed to get that back. And Tim will speak to it, but Tyler's done a phenomenal job of getting out there into the community, into businesses, and not just doing inspections, which is important, but meeting business owners and people that work in the community. So and that's huge.
Well, we have all our fire extinguishers replaced and serviced, but that's one of the things you guys look for, and we appreciate all the safety.
Yeah, 2024, you're going to see a lot of community risk reduction with Tyler working fire prevention. So we want to just be out in the community and making sure that everybody has that message.
Great to have you here. You and your team continue being safe, and thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Elmer Hitt and Tim Gonzales on The Morning Show, which continues after this.